To all who come to this happy place, welcome to Lilo and Stitches. We're your hosts,
Chris
and Jen.
So today we want to talk to you guys about what it's like at Disney World as a heavier person, specifically the rides.
Yeah.
Anybody who's gone to a theme park knows frankly being a fat person is not easy going to a theme park. A lot of times, specifically for us here in Virginia, we go to a theme park and we end up just letting the kids ride the rides and sitting out, and we still have fun, but we don't get to ride many of the rides.
Most of theme parks are not fat friendly. Disney World, however, is the most fat friendly theme park that I have been to, and I've been to theme parks in several states.
Yeah.
California, Michigan, well, not Michigan, Ohio, Virginia, Florida. I will also at the end cover Universal and my feelings on the fat friendliness that does not exist in Universal.
And we will also obviously try to touch on the rides that we don't fit on specifically, so you all get an idea. But
because nobody wants to get up to the front of the line after waiting in line and realize, hey, we don't fit. Now you got to be ejected from the ride, and that's embarrassing, and it has happened to both of us.
Yeah, that is embarrassing. And I do want to start, obviously, caveat that we understand we're heavier people, and there may be people who have comments that you should lose weight or that's not healthy.
Duh.
We know. But this is just from our experience, because there are people out there who struggle with weight and they still want to go and have a good time. And so
you should be able to.
Right. So to start off with, I'm a bigger person. I'm 400 plus pounds. I carry a lot of my weight in my stomach. And my thighs are a little bit thicker, and I'm 5'10" and a half or so. So
guys always add an extra little half inch there.
Yeah. So that's just to give you an idea of my body type. So when you're thinking about rides, you can kind of compare that to your body shape, body type guys anyway.
And as for me, I'm about 5'8". I'm mostly legs. I'm like most of my body weight or my length is in my legs. So that is also an issue, is I have long legs. But also I'm about a 4X. 3X, 4X, depending on the clothes. 26, 28 for all you girls. You guys know. So this is going to cover our size range, what it's like for us on the rides, what rides we don't even attempt to go on, what rides we stay away from, and what rides are a very tight squeeze. Yeah. For example, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Now, we
love the ride.
We love the ride. It's a lot of fun, and we squeeze our butts in there. But the problem is the leg portion. It has a bar that is shaped like this that folds down over your stomach. That is not a problem. It fits us in the stomach area, but the leg space here between the bars is very, very narrow and tight and painful. And so that will be an issue if you have larger legs, or if you have larger legs. Tall legs, fat legs, doesn't matter. My daughter, who is about a size extra large, it's a little tight on her legs too. So that is one ride that very specifically is tight on us. It's uncomfortable, but it is still a doable ride for a bigger person. And so we wanted to make sure we put that one in there.
So I guess really let's cover the rides we can't ride, right? Okay. So obviously a lot of people want to know what they can't ride. Now again, this is our experience. You may have a different experience based on your body shape, body type, height, weight, whatever it may be. For us, specifically Magic Kingdom. So Magic Kingdom cannot ride Astro Orbiter. I tried. It was close. I just couldn't get my arm down enough to get the seatbelt around me.
Now, I can't ride Astro Orbiter for a completely different reason. It makes me car sick. But I haven't tried it in years and years, so I can't even tell you if it would fit my body. I just know that it makes me nauseated, and I can't ride that ride just because of the way it turns in when it spins. Right. So
Tomorrowland Speedway is another one. So those who like driving the little motor cars, it's great. The problem is it's kind of small in the seat. So even taller people are probably not going to be able to ride it, but I definitely cannot ride it. It's just, there's just not enough room. Space Mountain, I can actually ride.
I can ride too. The problem with Space Mountain is trying to get out of it. Yeah. It takes you a few minutes to be able to lift your body weight up from such a low position. Right. So unless you have a lot of upper body strength, it's a little difficult to get out of the cart once the ride is over, but we fit very well on it, and it's doable for a big person.
Right. And then, so for us, those were really the only couple of few rides that we couldn't ride or had issues with. The rest of the rides at Magic Kingdom, for example, Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, we can ride those. Most of those either have a single bar that comes down over the entire group in a car, so it could fit 2 people in a car, or it's a single seat, or you sit in a line, whatever it might be. But for the most part, we fit on everything else at Magic Kingdom. Obviously not everything's open right now. The railroad, the People Mover, those are not open.
I can't wait for the railroad to come back. I miss being on the train.
But we ride everything.
Oh, the People Mover's a good one too.
And so for us, it's so exciting to be able to go and be able to ride all those rides. When you look at Epcot, I think at Epcot, we can ride everything.
Yeah, I've never had a problem at Epcot.
Haven't had a problem at Epcot. Even Soaring, Test Track, all those things. No problems
with any of those rides.
Yeah, we have no problems with any.
Now, there is a secret. If you have a seatbelt on your ride,
okay?
Before you sit down, if you're a big person, grab the seatbelt, pull it all the way out as far as it'll go, and then as you're sitting down, clip it down behind before you're all the way down. That is the best way to deal with the seatbelt in any of those rides, because it's easier.
Right.
That's bonus point number 1. Just
right.
pull
and
it
those
all the way out.
Seatbelts go pretty far, so after you clip it in, you can then adjust it if you need to. But yeah, that's that tip. Just pull that seatbelt out, put it in, and then sit down, and you'll have no problems.
Yeah.
So Epcot, yeah, like I said, we'll move on from that. We're good there.
Yeah, there's never been a problem in Epcot with any of the rides.
Yeah. Hollywood Studios.
I don't think I've had a problem on any of the rides. We have been on all of the rides, all the new rides especially. Mickey's Runaway Railway, no problem there. The seats are enormous. What are the Star Wars rides?
Rise of the Resistance.
Very roomy.
Smugglers Run, lots of room. Even the older ones, Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster, we were able to ride.
Tower of Terror is another seatbelt ride, so you got to pull your seatbelt out before you sit down, and don't sit next to a little one that has to hold the handrails, because this has happened to both of our children. They sit next to one of us, and because you come off the seat when Tower of Terror was going up and down, there's a chance if little fingers are holding onto that guardrail, your weight might come down on their fingers, and so that is, just be very careful of that. Because you do come off the seat, you don't want to crush your kids' fingers. That's not good at all.
The other one was the other Star Wars.
Oh, and Rock and Roller Coaster. Let me talk. I have a different issue than he does for Rock and Roller Coaster. I have big boobs. He does not have big boobs. So if you have really, really top heavy area for us girls, or even some guys might have a big top area. No judgment. The bar comes down over your head, and you might have to squish the girls down a little bit to get it to lock into place. But it was not a problem for me, and I, at the time, was like an I cup. So we'll just say that the last time I rode, I was about an I cup, and it fit. But I had to squish the girls down. And if you're sitting next to a stranger, which in this day and age, it's not real common to sit next to a stranger, but like in the older days and hopefully in the future, if they do the single rider line and you're sitting next to a stranger, you may be touching arms with the person next to you. I was seated next to a skinny dude, and I was still touching his arm, and it's something you gotta deal with.
And you can tell cast members that, especially if you're in a party of bigger people, sometimes they want to put 3 people in a row in some of the rides. And you can say, hey, look, we're bigger people. Can we have 2 rows?
Yeah.
And they understand it. They unfortunately have to try to figure out. They may make you wait.
Yeah, but there's no judgment. I've never at Disney felt judged for being fat.
Yeah.
Never. Not by a cast member, not once. They're always very, very welcoming and very like, yeah, we can accommodate you. And that's one of the things we really love about Disney is because there is, even when you have a child with special needs, and your kid starts acting out, you're embarrassed by that, and the cast members are cool. They're like, no, we see this stuff all the time. It's cool. It's all right,
Yeah. To go back real quick, I forgot the teacups. I cannot ride the teacups. I don't fit in the teacup because in the teacup there's a center disc that you use to rotate the teacup.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately hits my stomach, so I can't sit in the teacup. It's kind of like one of those things where if you can't sit in a booth at a restaurant, you're probably going to have a difficult time sitting in the teacup. Now, that being said, at Magic Kingdom, we can ride the Dumbo, we can ride the Magic Carpets. Obviously, those are little kid rides, people think, but We always love getting in those with the kids, and there's more than enough room in those. So that was that. But
but again, that goes back to if you're too big to seat share, like don't be afraid to ask if your party can be split up. That's not a big deal.
And at Hollywood Studios, Star Tours. So Star Tours is one of those rides she won't ride because it's a 3D ride. It's a virtual reality ride.
I can't do virtual reality. I get really car
sick. So it's not an outdoor ride or anything like that. And so me and the kids will ride it. It's one of those ones where the seats obviously are. It's a row of seats. There's a seat belt, and it's a little tighter space. So you have to again pull that seat belt as far as you can. And then, obviously try to click it in before you sit down, and you shouldn't have any issues. It'll feel tight, especially if you're next to people. That's why I try to make sure that the kids, I sit on an end if I can, or I have like the smallest of the kids next to me so that I take up part of their seat and they're okay with it. But yeah, so Hollywood Studios, we've been able to ride, virtually everything. Yeah. And then finally at Animal Kingdom, I will say the one ride we cannot ride at Animal Kingdom just because of the way it was designed is the Flight of Passage. So unfortunately, the way the ride is designed, you sit down as if you're in a bike and you lean forward and a thing comes up behind you. We're just too big to fit in that. And they do actually have a seat for you to be able to test. If you want to test and try to see if you'll fit, they do have one of those. But we can ride Navi River Journey. We can ride the Expedition Everest.
I was thinking Mount Everest. I couldn't get the name.
We can ride Expedition Everest. We can ride
Safari,
Kali River Rapids.
Go
on the Safari.
Now, Kali River Rapids is almost not fit because the seatbelts are a little bit smaller there. So what we found out our last trip actually.
Yes, this is a good one.
This is a good tip. The seatbelt, pull it all the way out. Before you sit down, click it down around your legs, not around your stomach, because it doesn't fit around either one of our stomachs. Sure. We clicked it around our legs, and then we slid down and slide the seatbelt up towards your stomach.
Yep.
And that is how you can ride Kali River Rapids. Otherwise, the seatbelt's a little bit smaller than a lot of the other rides, but it worked for us. You just buckle it while you're still kind of standing, squatting, leaning back, and then slide down into the seatbelt.
Funny thing is a cast member is the one who gave us that tip. So a cast member actually told us to do that.
That cast member saw me do it and then told you to do it.
Well, but in any event, it wasn't.
I was like, I'm getting on this ride.
I certainly hope that cast member relays that to people of bigger size.
We should just go and work for Disney and test out all the rides for fatness, and then give them tips on how to get the ride to be safe for us.
Right. Well,
that would be a cool job.
Well, so I think all in all,
it's not into it.
Yeah. All the parks, again, we've been able to ride 98% of the rides without issue. Some learning how to do it, adjustments to how you get in the ride, but once you're in, you're good to go.
Yeah.
We love Test Track. We love Mine Train. We love Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah.
So all those rides. And then when you got the rides that are like the car that has like a row that you can sit in for like 3 people, like a Doom Buggy or a Shell in the Little Mermaid. Obviously there's tons of room in those. There's no issue there. So at the end of the day, for us, it certainly has made it a much more magical experience for us to not have to deal with those issues. Yes, we can lose weight. But we're not even discussing that. We're not going to discuss that.
This is just, we're talking about for those of us who are fat and that want to go on a ride. We should be able to go on a ride.
So one of the things that we do before we go to Disney World, and we try to make sure we do it every time.
You definitely want to do this.
Is at least a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks out, for a bigger person, start walking.
For any person.
Well, for any person, yeah. Start walking.
Every day.
Make sure you're walking every day. Start out light if you need, but try to go longer and further and further.
It will help make your experience at Disney a lot easier, so you're not, like, hurting so much. You want to prepare for a Disney trip like you're going for a marathon. There are times where you're walking 9-10 miles a day at Disney, and most people don't do that on average. So you want to train minimum 3 weeks every single day. Get out there and walk, even if it's only around the block.
Right. And
this doesn't have to be a fat friendly only tip. This is anybody. And do not buy brand new shoes. Do not do it. Right. You're always tempted, like, well, I need new shoes. And No, because you have a breaking in period for those shoes. You're going to end up with blisters and sore feet, and you're going to be miserable, so don't do it. Get some old, worn-out shoes that you've been walking in for at least a month.
Right.
And, of course, if you're going to go start walking 3 weeks to a month before your trip, get the shoes then and break them in for the next 3 weeks, walking every single day. Your shoes will be broken in, your body will be broken in, and you will be much easier, better time at Disney.
And I do, however, recommend if you are going to buy something new, buy new socks.
Yes.
So buy yourself a bag of brand new socks and take those with you, because you're going to have clean, fresh socks every day on your feet, and it's going to feel good when you're walking around.
And new socks are always softer.
Yes.
They always feel good.
If your feet feel like they're sliding in the socks, that could be an issue, because that's going to obviously cause some rubbing on your feet. And then the other thing we always do is we always bring Band-Aids. You know, you start to get a blister, you put a Band-Aid over it. You know, and that's going to help. But for us, you know, being a bigger person at Disney, you know, obviously the biggest issue is getting on rides, and we can do that. Then comes the fact that you have to walk. There is a lot of walking involved. Take breaks. You know, if you're a bigger person who loves food, make dining reservations. Take an hour and a half out of your day and sit down in a restaurant and eat and drink.
Just don't eat a real heavy meal, because you'll be sick walking around in the heat, and you just be miserable. So
we generally have either no breakfast or lighter breakfast or a snack or something in the morning,
and then a nice dinner, and then we go back to the hotel to rest.
Right. Or what we've done in the past is we'll have a lunch, then we'll go back to the hotel for a little while. And then we'll go back to the park later. But that was back in the day when things were a little bit better, you know, more normal. But for now, you know, if you're a bigger person, you know, based off of what our experience and our size measurements and things like that. By the way, I'm a size 54, 56 pants. So if you're trying to figure out waist-wise, that's what I am. So when you think about it for yourself, think about our experience, and, you know, if we fit on it, you probably will if our size are smaller. If you're worried about it, you know, go. You'll probably still have a great time on rides. Stay away
from the rides that we mentioned if you're worried about it.
Yeah. So the rides that are a little tight.
There's so much more to ride. There's so much more to do. There's so much more to have fun with than just those couple of rides that are a little bit tight or don't fit us at all.
Yeah.
Now that we discussed how wonderful Disney is and how fat-friendly Disney is, let's talk about Universal for a minute, because a lot of people go hand in hand, Disney, and they make a trip to Universal and all that. Now, I will say, I don't like Universal. However, everyone else in my family loves it. The reason I don't like Universal is because I cannot ride 80% of the rides there, either because of my size or because of my vertigo.
The
virtual rides I cannot do, and most of the rides there, I just cannot ride them.
Yeah, the size was an issue for a lot of the rides for me. So some of the rides I couldn't go on, but there's a lot of rides that we could. You know, we were able to go on E.T. We were able to go on.
I could ride on
Men
E.T.
in Black.
Men in Black is really fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a good ride.
I was able to go on the Simpsons Ride with the kids, Transformers, because those are like cars. You know, you're getting in a car.
I can't do any of those. I can't do the Minions.
Yeah, we were able to go on the train from Harry Potter. You know,
that was a cool ride.
That was fun. We didn't
Hogwarts Express.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, Hogwarts Express.
I'm not a Harry Potter fan at all, but my family is, so
yeah, and I wouldn't fit on the Green Gods ride or anything else in the Harry Potter rides other than the Hogwarts Express. So for the most part, our experience at Universal was mixed. I
left the park crying because I had such a miserable time, because I either couldn't fit on the rides or I couldn't ride them because they were virtual, and like my family was having fun without me, and I was absolutely miserable. So I'm not a fan of Universal just because of that. There's nothing for me to do in the park.
Now I will say though, Universal does have so in rides where there's a seatbelt that you might not fit in, they do a lot of times have expansion belts. So the Jimmy Fallon ride, for example, I went on, and the individual who works there, the team member, had us wait, and once everybody was in, she said, "Sir, you know, I don't know that you're gonna fit on the seatbelt, but so we're gonna have you sit in the last row." And then when the people cleared out, they went in, put on the extension belt, and then had me before our whole group went in. And so when I went down the last row, and there was already a seat there with me with an expansion belt on it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so they do have expansion belts on some rides. I don't know about all of them. So unfortunately, our experience with Universal is a little mixed. You know, I still think Universal is a great park. It's fun. There's a lot of stuff to do that's fun and see and experience. Unfortunately for us, Disney has shown time and time again that it is the park that is most friendliest to us, most friendliest to our family and things like that. So while I will always take my kids to Universal anytime they ask, it's not a park that I will go to on my own. It's not a park that when the kids are gone, we're going to go to. But it's certainly one that I encourage people to go to.
If you can do virtual rides, by all means, try as many of the rides as you can. But for me, it's a total waste.
Yeah.
And it was very depressing to leave having only ridden the Karasusuko, which I had a bad experience with one of their workers there. But yeah, so that... And the Simpsons, the alien saucer, whatever that alien ride is, I was able to go on that.
Yeah.
And E.T. and Ben in Black were really good rides, and I fit on both of those. So that's my entire experience.
Yeah. So there are a lot of rides that you can and can't ride. So it's a mixed bag. So certainly try it if you can. They do have the rides for you to test.
They do almost always have, at Universal, have the seats out front for you to test the seatbelt and the harness capability before you even get in line so that you're not embarrassed.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is one thing I will give them. At least they have that, but they need to work on their rides and they need to make more fat friendly. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah. So being a bigger person, Disney World, totally doable. So don't sit back and say, you know, I'm too big to go to Disney World. There's tons of things. And if you do have some mobility impairment, which some folks do because of their size, you know, Disney World has.
They have free wheelchairs.
They have free
complimentary wheelchairs that are usually in and around the parking lots or the bus terminals. They also have. There is a lot of scooter renting places in and around the Orlando area, and there's probably a lot of good rates out there for multi-day passes to rent the scooters. So definitely look into that if you have mobility issues, because I don't think anybody should stay home and not experience the wonder of Disney just because of they may have physical limitations for any reason. And Disney is they feel the same way.
And if you have a mobility issue, they do allow you to come with your group to try to get on the ride in the disability as a disabled person. Obviously in some of the rides you have to exit
get off
your scooter or your wheelchair or whatever you're in to be able to ride the ride. It's just a safety issue. There are a few rides where they make it so that you can bring that on, but don't let that hinder you. You know, it is a great experience. At the end of the day, I think it's a great thing. So with that being said, I know one of the things that we will probably touch on in a coming up episode is doing a question and answer for some of our favorite Disney things, favorite characters, what do we, things like that.
I'm gonna quiz him.
Yeah, she's gonna quiz me. We don't play Disney games with her because she's like the best at the Disney trivia, Disney quiz. When they did the family trivia night, though, she didn't win. So Disney recently did the family trivia night on Disney Parks blog. And
yeah, but every other Disney trivia game, I spank all y'all, and you guys can't win, and they won't even play with me because they're all sore losers. Yeah, so I wanted to show my pin board in a future video. I've had requests for that. And also coming up in the next couple of weeks, I've had several requests to do budget-friendly planning for Disney. So we're going to work on that, but that takes a lot of research. And we're gonna have hopefully some good tips on how to save money and how much a Disney vacation can cost you.
I don't want to make it boring.
Break it down. No, we're not going to make it boring. We're going to try to break it down and give you some tips on how to save money, like hotels, save money with... we don't know how to save money with airplane tickets because that's not our thing, but we're going to do some research and see if we can help you guys out with planning tips on how to save money, because Disney can be an expensive thing and I want everyone to be able to go.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, we are going to let you go and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
See ya.